My name's Scott Miller, and we're here at beautiful Schiphol Airport, just outside of Amsterdam. I'm so pleased to be able to talk with you about the work that I've been doing on outcome-informed treatment. In fact, for the last week, I've been here in Holland, working with therapists who are trying to improve the outcome of their clinical work. You know, the news is really quite good about what we therapists do. Here in Holland, in the States, in the UK, in Canada, our efforts to measure clinicians' outcomes indicate that the work we do has a tremendous positive impact in the lives of our clients. The same research shows, however, that we can really improve the value of our clinical work to both our consumers and the payers for therapy services with some very simple activities. One of those simple activities is measuring from session to session the impact that our work is having on our clients, and also getting feedback from them about the status of our relationship. In truth, the particular method doesn't seem to matter as much as that personal bond between you and your client. Over the last 8 years, together with a number of other researchers, my team and I have developed two very simple tools, one called the Outcome Rating Scale and the other called the Session Rating Scale. As the names imply, the first measure looks at the outcome of services. What kind of results are you getting? The second measure looks at the status of the relationship. And here's what we found. When therapists track and discuss their work with their clients on an ongoing basis, the clients have better outcomes and stronger alliances. They're more engaged in the treatment and in particular can identify those times when there's a problem, either in progress or in the status of the relationship. These two simple activities together improve outcome by as much as 65%. Now, once again, that's not to say that the work you're doing right now isn't important and doesn't have a significant impact. In fact, the research data that we've gathered, along with other researchers, is clear. The average treated person is better off than 80% of the untreated sample in most studies. That's phenomenal when you think about it. It's an effect size that's equivalent to coronary artery bypass surgery. We have nothing to be ashamed about when it comes to our outcomes. At the same time, we can improve on two areas where the research says we don't do so well. Our dropout rates, for example, average about 50%. And that's not just research in the United States. That's research in Canada and the UK as well. We do great work with the people who stay. In addition, we have about 10 to 15% of our clients who deteriorate while they're in our care. Again, simply by measuring the status of the alliance and status of outcome on an ongoing basis, and most importantly, discussing that with our clients, we can improve those by about 65% and half the number of clients who drop out from treatment. I've been coming to the Netherlands now for about 2 years. And even during that time period, as short as it is, I've noticed big changes happening here. In particular, I know that funding has changed and insurance companies have moved into what was government-funded health care. You know, something very similar happened in the United States about 20 years ago. The president of the American Psychological Association, Dr. Nicholas Cummings, said 20 years ago to psychologists, be prepared, get ready, take charge, be active. They did not. The result is that therapists in the United States have lost a great deal of credibility and control over clinical practice. I know that the current time in the Netherlands is a very frightening period for practicing clinicians. I also believe that the good work we do speaks loud enough to help us negotiate successfully with insurance companies and payers. If therapists take charge, step up to the plate, show the value of their work. And showing the value of our work is not that hard. But I can tell you from my own experience in the United States that simply writing down on a piece of paper that my clients are getting better, even having the clients say, perhaps sending testimonials that your work is great, that won't matter either. What matters is having hard evidence. Over the last 7 years, together with a variety of other researchers, we've developed a group of very simple tools that clinicians can use in conjunction with their clients to document the value of the work that they're doing. Those two simple tools are, number one, the outcome rating scale, and number two, the session rating scale. Here's what we know from the research. Clients who begin to experience positive changes early in treatment are very likely to end treatment on a successful basis. Let me say that a different way. Clients who are not successful in the early stages of treatment are very likely to drop out of treatment. Or, as I sometimes say in my workshops, not likely to drop out from treatment. In other words, stay the course in a therapy that doesn't change and doesn't change them. Similarly, measures of the alliance can help us identify times in the relationship when we're having problems. Our particular measure is called the session rating scale. When these two scales are administered to clients on an ongoing basis and the client and therapist work together to talk about them, outcomes improve by as much as 65% and dropout rates drop by about half. At the same time, you can send this information to insurance companies to document the value of your work. Now, here's what I think is probably the best advantage. The insurance company, in my opinion, doesn't need to have any more information about your clients. They don't need to know the diagnosis, really, in my opinion, and they don't need to know what treatment you're doing. Their stake is in the outcome of the service, having a satisfied customer. By having data, this has allowed therapists in the UK, Canada, and the United States to say, we need professional autonomy to treat clients as we see fit, and then be left alone to work in a way that best fits the clients in the local setting and the local culture. Right now, therapists in the United States are inundated with paperwork, oversight, and regulatory measures. The truth is that payers are looking for some form of accountability. How can they show that therapy actually works and has value? Our message has been, it doesn't have to be that hard. In fact, the ORS and the SRS, our outcome and alliance measures, combined take about 2 minutes per visit. The result, however, is, as already stated, a dramatic increase in retention in services, that is, the clients don't drop out, and improvement, as much as 65% in the results. And most of the folks we talk to say it's fun, that they learn a lot that they didn't know before simply by asking for clients for feedback in a formal, ongoing way. I know that this is an exciting and challenging time here in the Netherlands. And yet, we've found that formally seeking consumer feedback is a win-win situation. Therapists win because they get to maintain their professional autonomy. You and your client should be deciding what happens in the therapy. Clients win because they get to see that they're working successfully with you. And when they're not, give you feedback to improve the care. And the payers win. Why? Because they have documented return on investment. The result is no one has to be peering in the room. We don't need excessive paperwork, oversight, and regulation. And the consumers can go about doing what they do most often when they see a therapist, living more healthful and fruitful lives. Thanks very much.